Today I will be talking with Dr. Veselin Rakosevic. He is the Associate Dean at the School of Science and Technology, City St. George's. He has extensive research in telecommunications, systems engineering, as well as electronics, and has been widely published in leading publications for research. Dr. Veselin plays a key role in aligning the school's academic direction with industry needs, fostering collaborations that integrate science, engineering, and digital innovation. Dr. Veselin plays a key role in ensuring that there is an academic direction to the school with industry needs, fostering collaboration and integration with science, engineering, and digital innovation. Welcome to the EduCon podcast, where we speak to higher education institutes, understanding what's happening in the ever-changing world of education. Today, I find myself at City St. George's, which is University of London, and we've had a fantastic time interacting with the faculty and looking at the campus. This conversation is brought to you by Skoda and Java. Dr. Veselin, thank you so much for having us here, and so exciting to see what you guys have been doing here at the School of Science and Technology, City St. George's. I would love to hear more about the kind of exciting developments you have happening currently at your college.
You're very welcome, and we are delighted to have you here as visitors. We have a lot of close links with India, and it's always a delight to have visitors from India coming to see us. At School of Science and Technology, we do research and education in computer science, engineering, and mathematics. It is really exciting times. The world is changing very quickly. The technology is changing. The integration of AI with the technology that we have already in the world means that nothing can stand still. And we have a major challenge in education, for example, to prepare our students who will all be working in the world of AI. And only 5 years ago, that wasn't the case. So it's really exciting times, but we believe in technology, we teach technology, and we build technology, and we are very ready to do that and to integrate AI in education and research.
That's great to hear. And when I say, for instance, ask you about the potential collaborations in terms of, say, international research, perhaps with some Indian universities or even otherwise, how do you think about those kind of things?
I think it's really exciting times now for collaboration with India. And I think there is much more than that the UK and Europe in general can do in terms of research with India. India is a huge market and a huge country with a lot of very smart young people and entrepreneurs. Is a fantastic place to collaborate. We are already doing that with a range of universities from India, from all parts of India, and it's really exciting. And I'm always really excited to see that the scale and the nature of technological problems in India, particularly on the user side, is very different from what we have in Europe. First of all, the scale in terms of the number of users of the technology is completely on a different level. But it's also really exciting to understand the technological challenges which are different. And we are always excited to work with institutions in India. The spirit of entrepreneurship and a can-do attitude that I always see when I talk to colleagues from India is really amazing. So yeah, I think, and I'm really hoping that we will see in the next decade an increased amount of research collaborations between the UK and India.
Mm-hmm. So you lead portfolio development and recruitment. What do you think, if one has to create a program that's globally competitive, what kind of qualities do you think such a program must have?
Well, here at City St. George's, we are a university for business practice and the professions. And what is absolutely at the heart of everything we do in terms of education is preparation of our students and future graduates for work. So working with them to make sure they're ready for the jobs that are waiting for them is the key to us. And we are also a very international university. So a lot of the case studies, a lot of examples, a lot of employability exercises that we do are not only linked to London and to the UK, but are very international. Most of our postgraduate students in the school actually are international, and they come from around the world, India, Southeast Asia, but also North America, South America, and Africa. And we naturally have students bringing problems from around the world, but we also create case studies, create problems, because a lot of the issues, particularly when it comes to energy, when it comes to finance and security, are issues that are global and that affect all of our countries together.
Right. When we look at, say, for instance, technology today, right, as you mentioned earlier on about AI, I think staying updated and also keeping up with this ever-changing landscape is extremely important. So how do you guys cope up with with the changes happening in the world at the moment?
Well, in terms of research, a lot of the academic stuff that we have been doing research in AI for many decades now. And the emergence of wide-scale technologies that everybody can use now is something that we have seen coming, and we expect it to come over the last decade or so. For us, the core thing is to educate people in actually what is AI and how does it work, because there is a lot of mystery about it and a lot of focus on the application and the use of AI. And we want to use the opportunity, because we are School of Science and Technology, to actually teach people, right, what is behind these boxes. Because one thing is for practitioners to use AI to help them in their business and business development, but as scientists and technologists, we are very keen that our graduates leave university knowing actually the algorithms, knowing the programming, knowing the core structure of these algorithms and of the systems that they will be using in the future. And I think this is a real advantage, and I'm seeing that with the students who are, there is quite a big step from being an expert user of AI to being an expert in AI and actually understanding what is going on.
Right. So when it comes to, for instance, even the kind of students that you bring in, right, say, for instance, the kind of kids that you have in terms of admissions as well, what do you look for in a potential student?
Well, we are very proud to be at the same time university for international students and also university for local people. So what we are very good at is communicating to a local community of students who don't necessarily have to be already really good in what we teach them, whether that's computer science or mathematics or engineering. One of our missions and one of our roles in the society and in the City of London is to introduce this to a new generation of students. So we work very hard with schools and colleges around London to introduce the benefits of studying engineering, computer science and mathematics. So very often we have students who haven't really thought about studying science and technology 6 months before applying. And we work really, really hard with them to encourage them, and perhaps they got insufficient advice to both in terms of career development and also in terms of the excitement. So we are on one hand looking for, of course, very good students, and we want to have more of them, but we are very, very good in developing talent in students that haven't really thought about that before coming to us as a university.
Wow. I know that your work has been published quite a bit in some very leading publications. So when it comes to research at the college over here, anything in particular that you would love to talk to us about that must be highlighted and known to the world about?
Well, my research has been in the general area of wireless communications and networking, and I have worked with European industry to develop different protocols, particularly for wireless networks. And one thing that I always remember very fondly, as we have a delegation coming from India, is a research project we did about 10 years ago, which we did with IIT Bombay and several other universities in India, which was about exchanging understanding and developing solutions for rural internet access in India. And this is where we learned a lot about how different the environment is, because we had solutions for rural internet access and rural wireless networking in the UK and Europe. And when we went to India, we understood it's a completely different problem. And it was really exciting. And we had some really good exchange with scientists and researchers from 4 or 5 different Indian universities. And we learned so much, and we probably ended up learning more than colleagues in India learned from us.
I'm glad to hear that. When it comes to, for instance, a role being played when it comes to, if you think about interdisciplinary learning, right, say between health and technology, what do you think is going to shape the next generation of innovators?
This is really exciting area, because education has traditionally been single topic, single area. And I believe that on the undergraduate level, this is still the way to go. And we do introduce employability, we introduce business understanding in all the education, but we have fewer programs that are, as we call them, hybrid, that are shared between the disciplines. But at the postgraduate level, the only way forward is interdisciplinarity. And we are now working very closely with other schools in our university, first of all, School of Health and Medical Sciences, but also Business School and School of Law. And particularly, for example, when we teach AI, we work more and more with School of Law and also School of Health, because we see that application of AI in these fields has so much potential that the only way to educate is to build interdisciplinary programs. These things are not easy to make, but I really think it's the way forward.
Got it. And when it comes to, for instance, looking at future trends, where do you think the world is headed now in terms of technology?
Oh, wow. That's an easy question. Well, I think there is a huge gap in between the technology and the society that needs to use the technology. And I think we all need to work very hard in understanding the impacts that this rapid change that AI models and large AI applications have on the society as a whole. We need to understand where the new jobs are going to come from. And some of them will come from the technologists and people that understand how artificial intelligence works. But a lot of these jobs will be about people who will know how to integrate the new technology into the jobs and the activities that already exist. And in terms of health applications, which is where I think the new technologies can really make a huge difference, we need the society as well to understand the level of investment that is required because the technology, if we don't use it for good and we don't use it for good of a very large number of people, is not going to make the impact that it could make otherwise.
Absolutely. I do want to dig a little deeper in the point that you said about people losing their jobs, or maybe just the whole definition of jobs perhaps having a different face now. There's a lot of speculation that AI is going to take away our jobs. There's a lot of fear in the markets as well. How do you personally feel about that?
I'm a little bit worried, and because I'm hearing from young people and from our graduates that the opportunities are much fewer than 4 or 5 years ago, I think it will take a little while for business leaders and industry leaders to understand that they have to be thinking long term, and that while the short term options exist, the benefit of training and having a successful and productive workforce is never going to go away. And we are probably living in the time where some adjustment is required. We went through the time when everybody was extremely excited about AI and found AI as a solution to a lot of problems, including the problem of cutting costs that businesses are always looking for. But I'm hearing now more and more stories about how things don't always work as expected, and how I think the businesses need to adapt. And this is where education is very important, because we also, as a university, not only want to educate very young people to get them first degrees, but we want to work with industry and companies and also governments to re-educate people who are already in mid their careers, but require additional education in order to use the new technologies. And this is also something that we as a university really want to lead and work very strongly across all the schools so that we can offer this mid-career. So universities as well, I think, need to understand that they have a role to play to educate or train people mid-career and not only young people who are getting their first degrees.
I think that's a very interesting perspective, that even in your mid-career, you still are trying to, learn more, train yourself, and education doesn't just stop after you finish, say, your undergrad or master's, right? Any upcoming programs or anything that's on the agenda about courses that we must really know about as well?
Well, we have a strong portfolio of programs, including our leading programs in data science, cybersecurity, and artificial intelligence on the computer science side. And also we have postgraduate programs in mathematics with data science and the program in robotics, AI, and autonomous systems on the engineering side. And we are going to continue that. And the more and more we are, and particularly with international collaborators and international educational partners, we are looking at building short, specialized, bite-sized programs for mid-career professionals, for example. And we have been talking to a lot of partners in India and a lot of other partners, particularly around Southeast Asia. Growing economies really feel that gap. And if we focus only on traditional 12 or 24-month master's degrees, we are not going to be able to fill that gap together. So the really exciting thing now is this opportunity for us to build bite-sized programs. So, for example, we run something we call STEM Digital Academy, which is an online program in computer science for students who don't have computers or people who don't have computer science degrees. So we offer these programs specially designed for people who are in work, so that they can study and work at the same time, or study part-time and then be able to bridge that gap in their education and their skills. And it's very popular in this country. A lot of people are looking at retraining themselves or reskilling themselves halfway through their careers.
Wow. Just to touch upon, you did mention some partnerships in your answer. Talking about international partnerships as well, how do you measure success when it comes to facilitating and executing an international partnership?
Well, it's very important that both sides have a clear benefit from a partnership. For me, the most exciting thing is learning about other countries, learning about other educational systems, and seeing how we can best serve the students, because we always think about the student journey. And I had the opportunity to study in 2 different countries throughout my life, and I think that's an amazing thing, because in addition to cultural exchange, you also have a different educational system. So we always think about the student journey and what will be the eventual benefit to the student. And in addition to that, when we work with partners in India, we always make sure that research is at the core of the collaboration. Because if we don't engage staff from partner institutions and engage them in collaborative research projects, is by far the best way for a collaboration to work.
Great, fantastic. Thank you so much for your time. It's been lovely chatting with you and learning so much about what you guys have been doing here at City St. George's. Had a fantastic time chatting with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Yeah.